Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Mic. I'm Gary Laubach, along with Mike Joseph, as we prepare for the Georgetown Hoyas, a 3:30 start right at Fisher Stadium on Saturday afternoon. We always like to reflect back a little bit on the past ball game. And Mike, Fordham, outstanding football team, 4 years of scholarship players, and I think perhaps we see the future of this league. If everybody gets as talented as that team has gotten, this is going to be a pretty formidable league in 4 years.
Absolutely, a league I think that can compete, with the CAA teams and a lot of the teams from out west as well. So it's going to be a lot of talent. So it's nice to see where this league is going. But the game we saw on Saturday, we definitely saw a talent level and a deeper talent level, something that that depth is going to provide. And I think that's what Coach Devani is going to find over the next 2 years is a lot of depth.
Of course, Georgetown comes in here right now with a 2-4 record. They're 0-1 in the league, having been shut out by Colgate, and scoring has been their problem under first-year head coach Bob Scarlata. Mike, they're only averaging 10 points a ball game. They haven't scored a touchdown now in 2 football games, as they only got a field goal against Harvard. They've been able to move the ball. They just haven't been able to push it in for scores. So obviously the offensive side of the football has been a problem for them.
Yeah, that's a struggle, and that is very frustrating to coaches. In fact, the fact that you put the ball up 173 times and you only have 3 touchdowns. It's a very low percentage. They are moving the ball between the 20s, and that's more frustrating as hell. If you get down in the red zone, and we talk about red zone each week, we talk about turnover margin. They are leading the lead in turnover margin, but that's because they've taken care of the ball very well. They don't take a lot of chances. But this is going to be the 3rd year in a row that we see this quarterback from Georgetown. He's a tall guy, doesn't move real well. He's more of a pocket passer, but he is tall, and once he gets on a roll, we saw him, I believe, 2 years ago here on our field complete a drive that set up a field goal to win the game.
And lest people forget, they have beaten us 3 out of the last 4 years. We did beat them last season, but the 3 years prior to that, this ball club did knock us off, and I think in every one of those years, the feeling when we left the stadium that day was that we were the better football team, and things just were weird and rather eerie, and I think Coach Devani alluded to that in his press conference today. Defensively, however, boy, Alec may be the top defensive player in this league, and their middle linebacker, Nick Alfieri, is also outstanding, and they've got the numbers to prove it, 9.5 sacks for May.
Well, yeah, they really leave nothing to be desired. I think we saw some good pass rushers with William and Mary Riley, and then last week we saw B-Stick play for Fordham. But Alec May is you're going to see one of the most athletic players, a great speed up the field, good move, can track a running back down from behind. And then Alfieri in the middle is just a solid linebacker, and they've had solid linebackers with McCabe and Dustin Wharton over the last couple of years. So this is going to be a formidable defense. They always come into Lafayette with a little chip on their shoulder, so you know that they've lost a few games. They want to show Lafayette that they're here to play. I thought they played a good game last week at Harvard. The game at one point was only 10-3, so it was very close, and they had the ball down on the 3-yard line. So I think that's a game they think should have been closer. This team's going to come in here fired up, and the Leopards can't lick their wounds too long. They're going to have to be ready.
And I think part of the problems for the Leopards, if I was to use 2 words to describe the season so far, it has been consistently inconsistent. And that has been the problem, whether it's penalties, whether it's offensive line play where we just don't make the block when needed, or it's a defensive lapse. I mean, we just have not been consistently good in any one of those areas.
Man, I think from a coaching standpoint, you got to do one thing. You got to probably slim things down a little bit. Now, defensively, we know they've done that, but I think what you'll see from Mickey Fine this week is a lot of running game. You're going to see 2 tight ends. You're going to see a fullback in the game. You're going to find the things that Lafayette does well. And after about midway through the season, most of the offensive coaches go back and they do what they call a self-scout. They find out what we do well, what formations have been good for us, and where we're consistent running the ball, say on first down. Third down's been a problem, but first down I think has been pretty good for Lafayette. So maybe a little bit more quick game, find different ways to get Ross Sherman the ball, but they're going to need to get weapons back like Adams and Dixon at full strength, because right now they're playing a lot of freshman wide receivers and a lot of mistakes happening out there. So right now with Blake Surfaz, he's going to need some help.
Well, the first step to getting ourselves right back into the Patriot League Championship picture begins on Saturday at 3:30. You, of course, can join us on the Lafayette Sports Network or come on out to Fisher Stadium and watch the game live. For Mike Joseph, who's headed off to do Behind the Huddle, you don't want to miss Inside the Huddle. Not behind. Yeah, it's Behind the Mic, Inside the Huddle. You don't want to miss that. It's great every single week. For all of us, I'm Gary Laubach. We'll see you next week.